Hey, Wargamers, welcome back to the channel, Death from Above Wargaming. I'm Aaron,
I'm Javon.
and we are here with an exciting Hyperpulse uplink, a special interview here with our man, MechaMadness, as you may know him on Instagram. Wanted to have him on the channel to talk a little bit about some special projects he has going on. Figure we'd get the word out to the community so you guys are always up to speed on the coolest stuff. So guys, stick around. It's all coming right up. All right, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on the channel tonight. Really excited to talk to you here. So we've got some pretty exciting things lined up. You've got a lot in the hopper. You're a busy man.
I try to stay busy.
So you're a diehard, I'm gonna guess, a House Steiner fan.
Actually, I'm a diehard BattleTech universe fan. It's just that I happen to have the dragon behind me.
I love it. I love it. It looks good. Nice and fresh back there. We just did a battle report last night. I was playing for the dragon. So that one will probably be coming out shortly after this video. So exciting. So good timing on the backdrop there. So tell me about your BattleTech experience. We were talking a little bit about this before. You have quite an exciting story. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got into BattleTech?
BattleTech started with Macross and Robotech when I was a kid. My dad was stationed in Okinawa, Japan. So it was me as a 6-year-old watching all of season 1 of the Macross saga, seeing the SDF-3 blow up and all of the Rick Hunter and Minmay jokes. But when we PCS to the Philippines, BattleTech had just hit the show for the first time. So a lot of my dad's friends were talking about it, but I hadn't seen a box or a book or even a 3025 TRO yet until we got to Spain in '91. And the only thing that was available on base was Battle Troops. So I ended up playing a lot of infantry games.
Very cool.
And then when we moved back to San Antonio, Dragon's Lair Comics, which was by a movie theater by Ingram Park Mall, is when I really got my full exposure to the full BattleTech game, all hexes and all, and just got hooked from there.
Very cool.
The PC route, though, was me for most of it. I got started with Crescent Hawk's Inception, which I never beat.
Then, same, right?
You know, it's like, where's the key card? I'm done with this.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then I fell in love hardcore with Crescent Hawk's Revenge because it was top-down, real-time strategy, and you could actually win that game.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the difference. With the second one was the one where you could pause it, but otherwise the mechs would be like moving all over the screen real fast, right? I remember vaguely. Yeah. That was a long time ago. But those were great games. Fantastic. I bought the 3-pack. It came with Mech Warrior, the original as well.
Yeah.
Did you play that one as well?
Love that one.
So good.
I played through all 5 factions just to see if there was an alternate ending. Because the big rumor was if you played as Jacrone's Combine, you would get something exclusive, which was never true.
Not true.
But it was all, you know, I did better the 3rd time around because I had all 4 Battle Masters, regardless of their state of repair, before you got to the final boss. So I was happy.
Yeah, that was, and the Battlemaster was the biggest mech in that game, right? I mean, I think it was all of the ones in the 3rd edition box set, right? It was like Stinger, Wasp, Locust, Phoenix Hawk, maybe Shadowhawk, Rifleman, Griffin, Warhammer, Marauder, Battlemaster.
Yeah, Warhammer, Rifleman, Battlemaster, Marauder, Jenner.
That was in there too, yes.
That's what you start with, and it was just so aggravating.
It was so bad. Oh man, they were great times. So I derailed you a little bit. You were telling us about your various video game experiences. What about Mech Warrior 2? Did you get into that?
Love Mech Warrior 2. It was the first time you could actually play as a clan. And you know, it was kind of cringy at first for me because it's like I played the House Wolf storyline, finished the House Wolf storyline, and I'm like, man, I gotta play the Jake Falcon, but I don't like the Jake Falcon.
No, yeah. Yeah,
you
I
know.
was I think I played Jade Falcon. I didn't grow to distaste like to dislike Jade Falcon until I think I actually understood the lore. When I guess I how old was I? I was in high school, I guess, when or maybe actually it was before high school, just before high school when those games came out. And I really didn't understand the clan intersphere dynamic quite yet. Like I just really played the game for the giant robots. Um
Same.
yeah, so I didn't grow to dislike Jade Falcon until much later in my life. Now can't stand them. Can't stand them.
Well, my story with Jade Falcon is that everybody wanted to be Jade Falcon, and I'm like, I was reading the original source book about Clan Jade Falcon and how they're the biggest crybaby of the clans. Then I picked up the Kerensky novels about Aiden Pride. I'm like, okay, Aiden Pride is cool. I like his unit, but the rest of the Jade Falcons, they're still kind of suspect.
Yeah.
I appreciated the Wolves because we found out that the Wolves were linked to the Wolf Dragoons, and they were the big spy 007 Bond unit that was investigating the industry. So I'm like, okay, they don't want to
Yeah.
kill us. They just want us to sit down and be nice. Okay, right.
Yes. I like Clan Wolf, but I never liked the Dragoons. I always thought that was like so like they always had like these exclusive special mechs that no one else had. I was like, give me a break. It's such garbage. They like win all their fights, you know. I never liked them. But I do like Clan Wolf, I must admit.
Well,
Um Speaking of which, what is your favorite faction of all time?
the merchant faction, Diamond Sharks,
Okay.
because I appreciate the fact that one, we have all the cool toys, but we don't really care about your politics. We care about the bottom line.
Right.
Do you want to do business or do you want to get blown away? Do you want to leave us alone? We want to leave you alone. We just want to do our thing.
It is cool. It is
And
cool.
I appreciated it because it's like when you're playing tabletop RPG, it's like, hey, I need to go buy a Mad Cat MK2. Where's our Diamond Hearts rep? you know, you can't buy, like, the houses were so stingy. The way my GM was running it was you could only buy a 3025 mech, even though it's 3062. And I'm like, what am I going to do with the Hunchback
Right.
except get blown away at range? What am I really? So Diamond Sharks really did it for me. I like the history of the Diamond Sharks. I like the fact that they'll do business with you as long as you don't double cross them. And I thought that was all legit.
Yeah, I mean they definitely have a neat lore. I was always interested in Snow Raven, right? Similarly, I think they're a little uh less motivated by like land grab, right? They have a little bit more in terms of I think planning and things like that. Um, but yeah, Diamond Shark's a pretty cool one. I like it. I'll buy it.
All right.
Uh what
My
about
best
Clan?
friend from high school, his favorite faction was the Snow Ravens. He wanted to play fleet games.
Yes.
So when Battle Space first came out, he's like, all right, I'm Snow Raven and I got 30 warships. And I'm like, well, you win. All right. That was quick.
That's too funny. Um, Classic or Alpha Strike? I'm gonna put you on the spot. It's a tough one.
It is tough. And my caveat to that is Lance on Lance, classic. Anything above Lance on Lance, I need to go Alpha Strike.
That's exactly where I'm at too. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel about it. I love them both, but right, Classic. If you get too big, it's just. I even feel like, and I talk about this a lot. I feel like as the eras advance, especially past the clan invasion, like Classic becomes a little unsustainable for me. Like firing a rack at an infantry platoon. No, thank you.
That's overkill.
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, if you want to roll 300 dice or whatever, like a Hag 40, my gosh, you have to roll 40. If you hit with everything, you're like your buddy can go out to lunch while you roll for the hit locations.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. Well, speaking of Alpha Strike, you have a very exciting charity event coming up. Do you not, sir?
Yes, I do. Lucky 13.
All right.
Um,
Tell us about it.
Roughly right after my birthday, a friend of mine from college called me up and said, hey, I know you just moved back into New Orleans, but I want to do a BattleTech charity event and I want to put 300 mechs on the table. And I was cringing at first. I'm like, you want to play 300 mechs in classic? No, no. Let's start over. if we're gonna do a regiment on regiment game, we can play Alpha Strike and wrap it up in 8 hours. And you know, I can get 8 hours away from the wife and a day off from work, and we can wrap that
Right.
up real quick. And he's like, oh, well, I just had an idea. And I'm like, okay, then I'll plan it out. So it turned into, instead of playing a massive Steiner Draconis Combine game, it turned into, we're going to play 6 matches. 6 got cut down to 3 matches and became battalion on battalion. So the first fight is no one gets out alive. Shadow Visions versus Diamond Shark, J Falcon, Wolf, and Ghost Bear. The clans are staking a binary each. The modification we're making to the artillery rules, because Jesse, the co-conspirator of the event, the original idea person, says, well, I want to have nukes and I want to throw out artillery. It's the Spanish Inquisition meets cybernetic warriors. And I'm like, whoa, Kimosabe, slow down. You haven't played BattleTech in a while, so let's put brakes to that. And I said, okay.
He must be a Blakeist.
No, actually, he wants to play the clans.
Oh, with nukes. Gosh, it's terrifying.
Yeah, I'm like, the wolf doesn't nuke anybody. You know, the last clan that used nukes kind of got absorbed and eradicated. You know, the Wolverines, somebody likes them, we don't talk about them, you know.
Right.
And what I gave him as a caveat, I was like, hey, I have old War Machine templates. I have a 3-inch and a 5-inch template. We can use that for Air Force.
That's
Because
cool.
the previous edition of Alpha Strike, Aero Force were a 3-inch template.
Yeah.
With the Commander's edition, they dropped down to 2.
Yeah.
And really trying to squeeze more than one target under a 2-inch template was just impossible.
Yeah.
So I said, you know, and we're trying to get through this quickly. So first match, Word of Blake, the clan. Second match is the grudge match. Over my birthday, my best friend from college, he wanted to come over and play some Alpha Strike. He's not a hardcore BattleTech fan, but he knows the rules. He's very aggressive. He's a smart player, and he's very destructive when rolling dice. Like, he gets hot, I need to take him to Vegas. Yeah, when he gets hot, it's over. So we're having a rematch. I made a poster. You might have seen it on Instagram or one of the BattleTech Facebook groups. But since he lives on the west bank of New Orleans and I'm on the east bank, it's a crosstown rivalry match. So,
very cool.
Snyder Recon versus the Swords, Guile, and Misdirection.
I like it. So you're playing 36 mechs on 36 mechs roughly, right, per match. Is there a PV cap on the force as well? Or are you guys just kind of taking, you know, like run what you brung type of thing?
What I did is that I pointed up one force as an elite strike team and just gave an equal BV value per side for Alpha Strike points.
Yeah.
So the grudge match is roughly 2,600 points. And
that's
it's
sizable,
40 on 40 because I did artillery lances. So he has 2 Bakemonos, an Avatar, and something else, but he has 2 Dragon 2 since it's a Dark Age grudge.
Oh, I know them. Yeah, they're great. They carry the Arrow 4. It's a nice mech.
So he's got 6 artillery pieces. I have 5. So I have 2 longbows, and then for giggles, because I was repping my fancy arrow, I have a custom Cyclops that has an Arrow 4 heavy PPC and 2 medium lasers.
Nice.
It's still slow, but it's like, it's a surprise.
Yeah. That's fun. I love custom variants, of course, as you know. I mean, there's nothing I think that's what makes the game so much fun. You know, if I had a ticker of how many hours I've spent in the Mech Lab in a Mech Warrior game, it would be a lot. It'd be a lot for sure. So how can people get involved in this event if they want to help out, if they want to check it out? What do they need to do?
So what happened is that on my Instagram account, if you click my profile links, it goes to campsite, and I just have the event right there.
Okay.
And I forgot to post today the link to Angel's Place. Angel Place is a nonprofit charity. Think of St. Jude's support staff. So what they do is that instead of being a hospital, they're an auxiliary. So if a family is contacted saying, hey, I need to bring my child from Jackson, Mississippi to New Orleans, but I don't have any money, they'll find gas cards. If the parents don't want to have the child in the room so they can talk to the doctor about a diagnosis that might be terminal or life altering, they will sit with the child and give the child emotional support and what have you, whatnot. when a lot of families in New Orleans were affected by COVID and they couldn't afford Christmas gift, Angel's Place would go to every business and local charity, take donations, pick up toys, gifts for kids, and bring it to them.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's awesome, man. That is the most noble of causes for sure. So guys, I would encourage you to check out the link. I'll post up something or flash it up on the screen, a link to his profile. It's MechaMadness on Instagram. So check that out. And anything helps. It's BattleTech for a good cause. Nothing better than that, for sure.
so that's why we're doing it. But recently it was a hard sell trying to get equipment. Like I have one webcam, I have one ring light. So somebody says, hey, I'll donate enough money for you to buy 2 more webcams. Somebody donated, a couple of local restaurants donated seafood.
That's
So,
cool.
a lot of people wanted to help out, but of course, with COVID, the pandemic and everything going on, not everyone has money. So
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, if we can borrow a monitor, that's great. I reached out to Aries Miniatures,
Mm-hmm.
and he's donating one of each of his custom mechs that he sells on his website. So I'm going to paint them up, post them on eBay, and all proceeds, minus shipping and packaging, of course, will go straight to Angel's Place.
Very cool.
So donations for equipment, we got about $200, but directly to the charity itself, we have $100. Aries donated 50. Derek King donated 50, and then someone else donated another $50 to match. So
Very
we're
cool.
not doing bad. And that might be dinner or lunch, and any amount is appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's really cool, man. That is fantastic. So again, guys, definitely check that out. And again, you can find the details in the Instagram profile for MechaMadness. Very cool, man. That's awesome. That is really that's a again really great cause. Nothing better than that. So sort of shift here in the topics. Some other projects that you have in the hopper. You're like I said, you're a busy man. You got all sorts of stuff going on. So when I first sort of stumbled across your wares on Instagram, so much 3D printed stuff, 3D printed terrain, some 3D printed mechs and vehicles, and more recently you've been refining 3D printed road system, which I see all over your Instagram, all the cities and things like that. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that project and what you have going on there?
Yeah, I'd love to. Um, Growing up with BattleTech, you always grow up with map sheets, and everybody's always struggling on their favorite map sheet to play on. It gives them an advantage.
Sure.
So when I got introduced to GeoHex, I'm like, wait, we got all these hills and mountains, but we don't have any buildings. So a friend of mine in high school in a wood shop, he was cutting up chunks of wood and like, it's a bank. I'm like, it's a chunk of wood. So fast forward 20 years, when I got introduced to 3D printing, I'm like, okay, cool. Now I can have cities. And I found out about Steel Warrior Studios and Thunderhead Studios and all the stuff that they were putting together.
Yep.
So I decided, you know what? I need a triple decker highway system. I need stuff that when I was working and teaching in Japan, I wanted to play in what I was seeing all over the country, in Japan. So playing around with Tinkercad, watching a lot of YouTube and getting help from designers that could shoot me some hints and tips, I built a highway system. And getting a little bit of help on Facebook, I was able to knock out all of my roads from 15 millimeters up to the big 110s. I like the 110s because it's a highway.
Yeah.
15 millimeters is not even half an inch. So having a variety of sizes. But now on my Instagram, you can check out that I can use everything and have a viable battlefield. So after a little bit of work and planning, I just put it up on Colts 3D. If you go to my Instagram link and you go to Colts 3D through Campsite, you can find my files and all the buildings that I've already designed and put up.
Very
and
cool.
I was happy because a friend of mine from San Antonio saw my post. He's like, dude, I need roads for BattleTech, but I'm also going to use them for 40K. I'm going to use them for Flames of War. I'm going to use them for all the games I'm playing. So he bought a set. And then the day after, I got a notification on PayPal that someone from England bought a set.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, I mean, I took a look at them, and I'll flash a couple pictures up here. Some intersections, some turns, all the basic stuff you need, ramps as well. Of course, in my mind now, since you said Japan, I want to build like a giant Wangan around my city and have little little sports cars racing on them while the mechs are doing battle.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, so that is neat. So I'll have some links to that, guys. And again, so you said those there's a link in your Instagram profile for that as well.
Hmm.
Okay, so guys, all the good stuff in the profile. So again, that's MechaMadness on Instagram. Check that out. Check out the profile. Very cool. Um, so lastly, what else do we have to talk about here? You have a fan made TRO. You mentioned this
Yeah.
a little bit earlier when you were, for your tournament, for your charity event. You have like that custom Cyclops. Is that in this fan made TRO that you're working on?
The fan made TRO is it's a running joke between all the gaming groups that I play BattleTech with over the years. And the first campaign started off in 3043. And the idea was you start off with regular characters. You might have one veteran or one elite pilot. You're building up your force and you're getting ready for the unknown, which was the clan invasion. And that was high school and college. And then we stopped playing. I got a new group while I was in Japan. And we started in 3052 and we played all the way up until we couldn't get our hands on any of the jihad books. So that's another section of the book. And then the last section is jihad straight to the dark ages. And the concept is that the way I ran the 3052 campaign and the jihad campaign is that realistically supply lines are shot. House units are going to take priority. So if your mech has an external engine and there's no parts, you're out of mech unless you find an engine or you salvage an engine and you can put something together
Right.
using the RPG rules. So a lot of the mechs that are all the designs are refits, whether they were NPC based refit. Like we joked around and we figured out how Wayland Yutani could cross over from the Alien Predator universe into BattleTech as a secret organization that sells parts, just as jokes. And then we even brought in from anime, we brought in evil anime companies like Goa Industries from Gasaraki. So we were just literally putting in pieces like, you know what? We need an evil Japanese space corporation that nobody likes, but everyone buys from. What can we do?
That's very cool. So, and what edition RPG were you guys using? Was that like the second edition, the gold standard, or were you using one of the newer ones, Age of War or something like that?
The first two groups I was playing with, we were using second edition. The third group, we were doing a little bit of third, and we were using the battle chest system out of Total Chaos and Alpha Strike.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, that's interesting. Now, do you have any, like on our side for our customizations, right? We sort of limit, right, what you can do. Like you can swap a medium laser up to a large laser, but you can't swap like a medium laser for an AC-20. There's like certain guidelines. Do you have anything like that in place, or is it just kind of based on what you think might be available and kind of what you could fit? How did you guys govern that so that you didn't end up with like wildly overpowered designs?
Yeah. So we had a tech curve, and basically, using the old Mercenaries Handbook, 3055 Handbook, you could buy an A refit kit, a B, a C, and a D.
Yep.
So where we gauged it was, hey, I have a 3025 4G Hunchback, but I want to buy double heat sinks. What can we do? So the GM would say, all right, you're on outreach, you're between contracts, you have a month on planet, and this is how much it's going to cost to pull out the engine, drop the heat sinks, put in the doubles, and then put the mech back together. And this is how much it's going to cost since we could figure out the cost. And they're like, yeah, I can do that. So we would limit it based on realistic time frame, what was available, and then the reality check would be no one has a Clan Gauss rifle, and that would put you overweight. No, you know, yeah, you can drop the AC-20 and you have 14 tons. No, you cannot shove two LM-15s into this hunchback in a day. It
Right.
won't work. So, and then we got a little bit more complex where it's like, all right, so we have to travel across the hemisphere. I'm going to be sitting on a dropship for 3 months. Can I do it then? Yes. But the balance was you have modified this mech so much, any critical hits to that torso automatically get a +1 on the damage roll.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's
So
cool.
we had a guy that modified the life out of a Marauder because he found a Clan Gauss rifle. He had an XL engine, and I'm like, okay, so you're telling me you're going to stick a salvaged Gauss rifle next to an XL engine and hope for the best? He's like, yes. So a J Falcon, this is the J Falcons, ran 2 Gauss Hawks on a mission, and they literally targeted his torso and blew it out. So instead of it just being oh, the engine's gone, we can replace it, it the Gauss Hawk using machine guns rolled a 13.
Oh, God.
The XL engine was vaporized, and he's like, I ejected. What about my mech? I'm like, let's not say we did, because you're missing your right torso, your right arm on a fully customized mech. It's scrap, man. We're just gonna bag it, tag it, and move on.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, definitely, I mean, engine swaps are extremely complicated, right? Like you think about, I don't know if you're a car guy or not. I am. Like the idea of like swapping a motor in a car is like it's like expensive, it's hard, it's time consuming. And like, you think about a modern day car versus the complexities of a battle mech, right? I
Yeah,
mean, the wiring harnesses and the plumbing and the sensors and everything that goes into something that complex, let alone when you're dealing with foreign technology like clan weapons and things like that. It's just
yeah,
so we don't. I mean, for simplicity, when we were playing, we did an RPG session and we had some similar things. That Mercenaries Handbook is awesome, right? It's got all the times it takes to do different things and the costs. But when we do just tabletop stuff, we don't even allow engine swaps because, to your point, it's like so complicated, right? I mean, it's such a big deal. But this is such a great part of the game, the customization. So I was excited to kind of hear more about your TRO. So what is the state of it? Where is it at? Is it available for people to check out? Tell me a little bit about that.
So right now where it's at is that it's still in development. I haven't had time because I've been completely focused on a charity event. But after the charity event's done, I'm going to reach out on the BattleTech forums and share the template and all the designs and let people add their own life to it. I really want to knock it out. It's
Very
been
cool.
a running joke for about 16 years now, and I want to wrap it up and be done with it. I already got
16
the
years. Yeah,
cover.
it's a long time.
Yeah. I have all the covers, and my favorite custom mech that a friend did is that he had a Irvin Archer. And
Okay.
it's scary because when you look at the original CityTech box, it's like, oh, you got 2 LM20s in the city. You blow up buildings. So in the campaign, what had happened is that he had destroyed a hunchback by punching in the face, and then another
Seems
hunchback
reasonable.
blew out his right torso.
Okay.
So we won the mission. We got 2 dead hunchbacks. There's no LM20 on planet. There's no LM20 where we're going.
I see where this is going.
And he's like, you know, I could live with an AC-20. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, this isn't going to end well for anybody. So what had happened is that one of our other mechs in the campaign was Dervish. The Dervish lost both of his legs in a DFA, took something out, DFA.
Right.
Took
I like
something
it.
out, no legs, and we were like, it's shot to hell. We might as well just scrap it. And my friend was like, hey, I got an idea. Give me one of the LM10s, drop the other LM20, shove in the AC-20, spread out the ammo, buy case, we'll be fried gold. And I'm like, I like it. I'm scared of it, but I like it.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean
So
that's a lot of welding. I'm sure that thing looked ridiculous at the end of the day.
it was ridiculous. What happened in the campaign, because it's still 3052, we had to go to a Steel Viper planet and do a raid. So we dropped in at the edge of the city. We're walking into town, and he's just chucking that LM10. And the friend that was playing the Steel Viper is like, why are you only firing one of your missile racks? Why are you only firing one missile rack? And I'm like, oh, you didn't tell him, huh? Okay, good luck with that. So as the engagement is all in the city, and you have mechs flying all over the place. You have a Phoenix Hawk 2C that's just dancing on the wing because nobody can catch it so fast. The archer just meets him at the corner and is like, "Hi, you stood still this turn, yes? Yeah. Okay.
Ba-boom.
8 and 20. Snake Eyes, 3 critical hits, 2 gyro hits, and an engine. Phoenix Hawk 2C, go boom."
Oh,
And he's like, "That's salvage. Next."
oh
So,
man.
and everyone was just like, you have an ace of 20 on an archer. What happened? And that was his own running joke for a couple of weeks as we played a couple more missions with it. So the archer racked up a Phoenix Hawk 2C, a gargoyle, a grindle, and a Daishi kill.
Yeah, that's some serious serious salvage there. Yeah, that's the art. I love the, playing an RPG style game in BattleTech, right? Because the stuff that the players come up with, the originality, and then of course it's less of a competitive like me versus you type of game. So you're like, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun, just the insanity. And realistically, I mean, if it were mechanically possible, these are the things that, mercenary teams would be doing, right? They would be gluing whatever weapons they could get to work for a given mission, right? Because who knows, it could be your last, right?
Yeah.
So pretty funny
It,
stuff.
it's just like all the Mech Warrior from Mech Warrior 2 all the way till now. When you played Mech Warrior 3, you were literally on that mobile field base like, I hope I have enough ammo. Oh God, do I have another? Well, I only got medium lasers left. Slap them in.
Right. Yeah.
So, and that's the way we ran a campaign because you have two schools of thought. It has to be all stock, or it has to be an omni mech that you
Right.
can play with, or you have that school of thought where it's like, hey, we don't have any LRMs, SRMs, or AC ammo. We got all these PPCs though. What do you want to do with them? Exactly. And that's the way I always played the campaigns, RPG and tabletop, especially with my Alpha Strike Mercenaries campaign that lasted until I moved back to New Orleans because we had a mission against the Word of Blake where we took out an Archangel with a headshot. And it's like, it's an Omni mech and all of our mechs are trash. What do you want to do? Well, I guess all those beautiful weapons off my Mad Cat are going right there. It's an Omni mech.
Right. Why not?
And the hardcore word of Blakey in the corner, we will not mention, was like, "That's so sacrilegious." And I'm like, we can go toe for the sacrilegious jokes. You are a space robe wearing anarchist crybaby that worships a toaster.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's funny.
But it was
Yeah. Well, it is always always a good time when you're playing with somebody who likes Word of Blake. Thankfully, Tom hasn't gotten there yet, and still just Comstar fanboy. So hopefully, we just leave it at that. Comstar and Jade Falcon, all my least favorites. But anyway, all right. So just to recap, guys, definitely check out MechaMadness on Instagram. Check out his profile. Alpha Strike for Angels, right? The Lucky 13 scenario tournament that he has going on there for charity. Check that out. Also, check out the road system that is linked there as well. If you're looking for some roads, these are very cool. And you can see there's a million pictures on Instagram. If you scroll through the things that he has, you can see them all over the place. So some really cool stuff there. And thank you so much for coming on the channel and talking to us tonight. Any closing thoughts here before we wrap up?
to going back to Comstar. Tex does a beautiful job explaining the Comstar issue, and I loved it.
Yes.
And
Yeah, some funny stuff.
my wife, who doesn't want to hear anything about 40K or BattleTech, sat through and watched every episode of Tex with me.
Interesting.
And she was like, he's hilarious. And the battles that I was having in San Antonio and in college, now all the faction jokes made sense to her. And I'm like, wow. So it took the guy on YouTube that, hey, I'll take it. I will take it.
I'm not there yet, but I'll try text. I'm willing to try everything. So I will maybe I'll play it on in the background, see if I can get her hooked in, but probably not.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. She can do whatever she does.
Not just Instagram, I'm also on YouTube. So the links in the campsite bio. What I try to do is any of my IGTV videos, I just move them over to my YouTube channel.
Okay.
That way I can add openings, closings, and other special effects.
Very cool. Well, guys, you can check that out as well. And you said that's also linked as well in the profile. So perfect. So guys, you can check all that stuff out. Well, that's all I've got. Thank you again. This was awesome. It was good chatting again. Good to hear about, of course, your BattleTech history and all the fun projects you've got going on. Tournament sounds fantastic. You can certainly count on us. We'll throw something your way for sure. Thanks again for everything you do for the community. It's always great to have guys like you, the constant posting and showing people, how cool the hobby is. It's good stuff. I think it attracts new players to the game, which is all what we want, right? Just want BattleTech to keep growing.
Always. I just want my Kickstarter. That's all I'm saying. I know Catalyst is not listening. I'm just like, I signed up for all of Wave 2.
Oh, you mean the single shipping?
Yeah.
Oh, so you haven't got your Wave 1 stuff yet?
No. I bought a couple things off of eBay. But
I'm sorry.
Like, it's all good,
a couple months. I mean, at most, it's got to be May at the latest, right?
I'll take it. Like I've literally, I bought a couple $100 worth of stuff off of eBay. So I got a Diamond Shark coin. I got a couple of Urban Mechs. I got a couple of Marauders and Vultures and what have you, whatnot. And I'm really loving the new skulls.
Oh, they're awesome. Yeah, I mean, I've got some across the table for me. On that side, I'm finishing up my last batch of some Donegal Guard. That's the last of my Wave 1 minis, and honestly, it feels kind of good. There is like a slight air of dread knowing that like I'm getting another giant box of miniatures that I'm going to have to paint. But at the same time, if I were in your shoes, I would feel quite the opposite. So soon, don't worry.
Okay. I'm not worried.
Oh my goodness, you're going to get like thousands of mechs. I mean, it's going to be so many. Wave 1 I felt like was so many mechs, and Wave 2 is I think twice as many as Wave 1. It's going to be an absurd amount. You're going to be buried in plastic. Your wife is going to look at you and be like, what did you do?
I already told her it's my birthday gift. We're not having this conversation. I don't argue about the shoes, the clothes, the packages. I'm like, I got one thing coming. One.
Just one.
It's gonna be
There's
huge.
30,000 things inside that one box, but
We don't discuss details.
That's right. It's just a box. Oh man, that's funny. All right. Well, hopefully Wave 2 soon. But thank you again for coming on. It was great chatting. Guys, again, I want to reiterate it. Check out his profile, MechaMadness on Instagram. You get to his YouTube, all the great stuff there. We talked about Aries Games and Minis. Guys, check those out if you have not already. He's got all the new stuff coming. I believe he's got the Command Lance and the Command Star. Those should be coming actually this month. And maybe the Elemental Star as well. I don't know. So you might.
I definitely want that.
Yeah, you might be able to get some things before May. Just buy everything before it comes. That way, when it does come, you have 3 times as much stuff. But that's it. I'm wrapping up here. So, guys, thank you so much for watching, and of course, stay tuned. Always great stuff coming from Death from Above Wargaming. Have a good night.